Hi, this is Linda Heiss from Direct Property, bringing you a business perspective to investment properties. This is about you finding a way to use your talents and double your investments. Rule of 72. Have you ever wondered why some of your properties perform better than others, while others lag behind? The Rule of 72 is a quick and useful formula that is popularly used to find out the number of years it will take for your investment to double at a given annual rate of return. Why could this be interesting for an investor? Apart from buying properties when you can, then just sitting on them for decades, you will have probably noticed that they all grow at different rates. Double something or double nothing? That is the question. By that I mean, if you establish an asset base, you have the opportunity to double something. If you don't portion off a part of your income from a young age, you will double nothing. The Rule of 72 will determine when each of your assets will double, some sooner and some later, based on cash flow and capital growth. I have adapted property to the Boston Consulting Matrix. This will assist investors in identifying what to buy, what to sell, and what to invest more into. This is one way of determining the characteristics of each of your investments. Of course, this is overarched by global, national, and local economic factors. We start as a question mark. They are new emerging investments. Stars are the first ones into the market. They sparkle and they are superbly positioned. Cash cows have fallen from stardom, but now you can milk them profusely for a time. Then there are the dogs. These are cash traps. So after identifying the positioning of all your properties, you can then do some projections for potential capital growth. Some of your properties might double in 7 years, or 10 years, or even longer. So your freedom and success depends on how your capital is utilized and remains relevant in changing markets. So if you have established a property portfolio, you have noticed that they move through different cycles at different times in different ways. Clearly, not all investments will be equally successful. Property cycles generally range anywhere between 7 and 15 years. As the Rule of 72 is used to determine how many years it will take to double your investment, so 72 divided by 7% rate of return will take 10 years to double. And let's say you purchased it at $300,000. That means in 10 years it will be worth $600,000. If the annual capital growth was 5%, the property will double in just over 14 years. If you want to optimize your outcome and make your wealth trajectory visible, you can see your decision points. Should I buy? Should I sell? Should I make a few tweaks to improve your position? Here are a few ways you can map out your direction. Firstly, record your purchase date and purchase price of each of your properties. Order a property profile report for each of your suburbs, either online or via your agent or broker. Try to go back as many decades as possible. The more the better. You will be able to measure the peaks and troughs of multiple cycles to determine where your property is now positioned. Historically, data gives you a framework, and property has a repeatable rhythm. Measure the years between peaks and take note of what the property value was at each of the peaks and troughs. If your property did go down in value since purchase, that could mean that you purchased it during the peak when there was strength in the market. However, one safeguard is not to buy an overpriced property. If you pay on market value, or better still, just below market value, you will have built-in immediate equity. When you purchase and sell a property, the costs involved are around 10%. That's 10% on entry and 10% on exit. So you can write off 20% of your selling price. So buy at a fair market price or below. This is critical. Each investment has a different story, so each has to be profiled and calculated separately, and continue to remain relevant with each of your properties to determine the property cycle. As you can see, there are also flat periods interrupted by the peaks and troughs. In terms of risk, When you look at these graphs, you will also notice that when there's a downfall, it could have been the Great Depression or any other global event. And similarly, when there's an increase in the market, there is a financial initiative to back it. And after living through many cycles, investors are getting older, and so do the ages of their properties. Refer to the Boston Matrix for property to understand your options to manage cash dogs. Get to know your property cycles. You could sit back and largely forget about your properties and let them take care of themselves. You might be the type of person who will proactively adapt and adjust to economic conditions. You are motivated by asking, how many opportunities can my family experience over and above financial commitments? I want to be able to educate the children and pay for their weddings. How do I become more competent in planning better outcomes? Then perhaps I just want to work until retirement, then travel the country in a motorhome. Whatever your goals are, we can all be grateful that our basic needs are being met, such as shelter, food, warmth, clothing. Then living in a safe community with safe relationships, being involved with business or employment, contributing and being responsible for others. Then being in a position to have an impact and strength in our community. Double something or double nothing? That is the question. Failing to plan and portion off a part of your income early in life could not only affect your future experiences, but also the generations you are responsible for. Whether you double a little or double a lot, you will be able to pick the fruit from the tree, and it keeps producing. If you have a tree but you chop it down for consumption, you will no longer be able to pick the fruit. Then, if you don't even plant a tree, you get nothing. Double something or double nothing? That is the question. Future generations need role models. They generally model what they see in the home. The next generation may lack the awareness of how to plan ahead. So do it differently. Surround yourself with people who want the best for you, and be mentored by those who are successful in protecting capital. You want to rebel against wealth reversal. This means that in the short term, you will be making sacrifices for future generations. A cup of coffee, if $5, will have an opportunity cost of $125 in future investment income, and foregoing $45,625 of retirement capital. I realise that having coffee with friends is a real institution, but I'm just putting it out there. Alternatively, being wasteful or squandering your opportunities will leave you with limited future experiences. The rule here is, don't spend the capital. You should only live off the returns that capital produces, the fruit from the trees. Don't chop down the tree for firewood. Remember, protect your capital no matter what. If you enjoyed the content of this video, would you like to share it with your friends and family? And also hit on the like button. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. It is not financial advice. This is Linda from Direct Property, bringing you a business perspective to investment properties. Hold on to your capital no matter what. The Rule of 72.